Welcome to today's collective reading. I'm going to open with a bit of resonance to cleanse and clear the third eye. This is specifically attuned to the resonance of the third eye. And then the kyanite and selenite to align the energies and elevate them, that only the messages of the highest and greatest good may come through for the collective tuning in. Please take what resonates, leave what does not, and remain open to any synchronicities that may come through in today's reading, being something that you may actually encounter being a synchronicity after this reading. All right. Let's see what is coming through for the collective tuning in. What is weighing on the hearts and minds? What guidance is coming through for those tuning in? Ooh. All right. Ooh, the Eternal Gatekeeper. Very, very powerful card. Number 32, which breaks to a 5. Trinity, co-creation, union within self. This is a claiming of your power and an acknowledgement of that. Owning your divinity, your ability to manifest, to alchemize, to create, to change. The key words here on the card are acknowledge, assert, and protect what is right for you. I'm hearing sovereignty. You are owning your sovereignty, your authority over your own energy, over your own life, in co-creation with that. The divinity within you, the connection to all those that came before you and all those right now that you may not be aware that you are co-creating with, that you have soul contracts with, that are excited that you have stepped onto this new platform of self. They've been waiting needing your contribution to complete the mosaic. To create that future. For those to come. Okay, and then we have euphoria. Honor yourself, number 9. You have gained great insight into mass, not only within yourself, but into those around you. And because you own your sovereignty, you don't necessarily attach an incredibly personal, energetic investment into this. The mask is not something that you are owning as a reflection of yourself, any more than those around you when they should encounter the mask that they wear because of how you are reflecting themselves back to themselves. You may find yourself triggering individuals into healing because you have bravely challenged your mask and you continue to do so. Now they know it's possible to honor yourself in this way. I want to make sure we're good here. Okay, we are. Okay, and then we have Epiphany. Reveal your gifts. I have had this come through a couple of times. So there's this song that I learned growing up, and it's this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This is no little light. This is not a little light. Your light is brilliant, and it is a very big part of completing this mosaic of creation. As I said, you've had many energies, many individuals that have been waiting to co-create with you, to come into your life, to know themselves and you know yourself more thoroughly as a result of owning this aspect of yourself. And yet again, there is a mask present here. Notice here that the eyes are not covered. However, you cannot see the eyes. Here, the eyes are covered. This is within you. You will find the richness, the gold, liquid gold, Midas touch within you, the divinity within you, that unique light, that unique spark is discovered within you. It's not discovered within those around you. It's within you. It's uniquely your own, just as your relationship with that divine aspect is unique and personal. And it's wordless when you try to describe it. Like you can try, but it's so personal. Almost an invitation to allow it to remain that personal. Because in that, others may be curious, and that curiosity that you spark in them may begin to get them to look inward, to take the mask off and look for the gold within them, the light within them. Because your relationship is yours. It's personal, it's private, it's unique. And by you honoring that within yourself, they begin to question, they begin to want, they begin to understand that they have to go within themselves because they have their own unique relationship. And I mean, just as you have on your journey, and you probably still will at times just be very frustrated and very human. They will too. They will too. Okay. Well, we grabbed this deck, and I'm going to trust that. So what do we have coming through here? What do we have coming through? This 9, I'm getting like a pretty heavy burden. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Definitely a challenge. This is such a beautiful, powerful card. 26 breaks to an 8. This is part of your soul's contract, part of what you came here for, part of the essence that makes you you. The priestess of original innocence. Even no matter how much you were challenged in this path to take off all those masks, and in showing and demonstrating that it can be done, you're inspiring others, but you held on to that innocence within you. That inner child lives and thrives and is safe and is content, and you speak with such genuine and authentic expression, self-expression. Your snowflake is unique. Every single snowflake is unique, and it's a reflection of thoughts and feelings and emotions. They have some scientific evidence that water will crystallize into flakes like this that are different if the water is labeled with a negative word versus a positive, or a person's name. So it does matter, the thoughts and feelings that we have about ourselves and what we give voice to. Even if it is an emotion that is unpleasant and frustrating, and you're speaking it to your divine, you're literally asking for help with that. In some aspects, you could be begging for this burden to be brought to some kind of a resolution. That in and of itself is not negative. It is an expression of trust and love and faith that the divine will not only hear you, not only feel you, but co-create the solution that you seek to create together. I love how this polar bear is just like hugging her. Like there's such a, almost like she is the bear, but she's not the bear. And the bear is just got his eyes closed, like he's just so happy. Like he's, he feels the connection, the peace. Know that your voice is protected. Your uniqueness is protected. Receive that hug of gratitude and recognition. You know, the acknowledgement. Receive that. Feel that peace, that hug, that warmth. That it took so much strength and determination and, yes, stubbornness. Definitely stubbornness. A lot of will to maintain that there are certain things that you were just not going to allow to be trespassed upon, which is definitely that inner child within you. The inner child is incredibly powerful when it comes to manifesting with the divine. There's a reason why we're so protective of our young, of our children, of, pets, especially when they're babies. They're little angels. They're little angels. They have not been programmed by all the things of this world that have us put these masks on. That's why they're so powerful. And you are very, very protective of that. And that is being acknowledged. You speak with that authentic self-expression. Okay, so we put that deck away here. Did we want to do one over here for the Epiphany? At the end. Okay. The end. So we'll go there next. So what is the receptive aspects to your spirit team? Your higher self, your guardians, your guides, the ancestors, the angels, your spirit animals. What does the more receptive side of the guidance coming through have for you today in this reading? What would they like to highlight? I'm getting a higher pitch tone in my left ear. Wow, that hot. So that's strong. Okay, we have 8 of Pentacles. You're in this moment right now. We are creating something and you're so excited about it and you're putting those final touches on it. And you have such wisdom and knowledge, even if you don't necessarily feel that you are this assertive, because this is a masculine form. This like you haven't necessarily lived the years to have the assertive wisdom that you are putting into this detail. And that dissonance right here, be receptive to that concept that you do have that wisdom, even though outwardly it may not appear that you should have that wisdom of how to move in such an assertive way, to actively have the confidence that you know what tiny details to add. And don't second guess yourself here. You know exactly what you're doing, even if you don't know that you know. Wow, what a... Have faith in yourself. Trust yourself. This is telling me that it's a little new for you to be so connected to all of you. So there may be a bit of me being in the flow with yourself, trusting that any little adjustments that you make to the details are exactly what's needed here. Exactly what's needed. All right. Now, for the assertive guidance coming through from your spirit team. Now, if a card does come out inverted, it's a question. It's a, let's explore this. Let's answer this. Let's look at this from a couple of different angles. That's how I read inverteds in my readings. It's always going to be a positive. Ooh. Always going to be a positive. Everything that comes through is, as stated in the beginning, and the contract or the opening to this reading was for everything to be for the highest and greatest good. If you do find that anything is triggering during this reading, it's possible that that is the guidance. That is the guidance because it hurts. It's healing. Now, I know at times, believe me, I've experienced it. It's not necessarily like what you want to hear, but it is what it is. And it is them, like your spirit team, attempting to help you by helping you look where it hurts so that it doesn't hurt anymore. We have the inverted, the Tower. Ooh. Okay. So is it possible that gravity just reversed for you and you're now flying instead of falling? How potent and powerful this is. I get the feeling that this may have been something that felt so difficult for you. And now that you have done this, every little, like if you're climbing a tower, every brick, every inch, like they have, like in those action movies, they have those gloves that like suction cup to the side of the glass and they just climb the outside of the skyscraper. Like you have those gloves now. You had them, but they weren't working, and now you got them. It's like you definitely, through doing this, through owning your sovereignty, your power, you have 2 more hands than you used to. You can get more done. You're more efficient. You have owned all of this. You're balanced. You have been acknowledged. And so physics are shifting for you in this situation. I do definitely want to get those synchronicities for you in the book, because this book does still surprise me. And that means that there could be some surprises for you guys as well. And when I'm called to do the book, there's a reason for it. So, with the Tower reversed, either way, we're going to have unexpected change. So that's what it's telling me. It doesn't matter if this is upright or inverted. Upright or reversed, unexpected change, sudden catastrophe, or traditions failing. Okay. Being that it's in the inverted, it's the question. Not necessarily what is changing, what is transforming, what is coming to an end, what traditions are failing you, what are failing around you. It's what traditions do you want to change? How do you want the Tower to be present in your life? This is still because you've owned this. How do you choose to create the change around you? How do you create this Tower in your life? How do you want it to look? How do you want it to feel for you? How do you want it to alter your thoughts from day to day, from moment to moment? How deeply in relationship do you want to be with your subconscious? Do you want to experience a new way of, they're giving me a lot of different senses. Like I'm like, how do you want to taste life? How do you want to taste life? It's like you've been experiencing the struggle. You've been going through like leftovers, right? You've been going through the leftovers. Now you get to cook. Now you get to create. What do you want to make? Do you want to make a steak? Do you want to make like some amazing Italian food? Do you want to dive headfirst into some like delectable experiences of like French cuisine? Do you want to go to the Orient and experience all of that richness of culture and flavor and unknowns? And I very clearly got that when I described a couple of those, that could be somewhatly, just the words themselves could be somewhatly triggering. That can be a thing of like, what is the intention behind the words when you do find yourself being triggered by something? Is it spoken with the conscious choice to hurt, to harm, when you find yourself triggered by other people, by the mask that they wear? It's possible that they just don't understand. They don't know. Like, they've had a different life. They've grown up on a different part of the planet. They've had a different, like, home culture. It's more about the spirit versus if the intention to harm is not present, then it's not really about, like, them. It's about you. Are you willing to change that hurts you? Because the intention in this particular scenario that's definitely being brought to the forefront, if you encounter someone who says something that hurts you, that triggers you, that makes you feel X, Y, or Z, are you willing to look at that as an observer? Yes, you have the emotion. Yes, the word used, the description, the scenario, the dynamic, even the whole situation could be triggering. But if you observe it, who are they? What is more than likely their background? What is more than likely their knowledge? If they're ignorant to how this could be affecting you, these are all like observing. These are logical. These are non-emotional based observations. This is not invalidating the emotional aspect. But this relates to so many other situations. This is the surface situation that they're bringing me to use. So this could actually relate to interpersonal relationships and like family dynamics, and this could be about work, but right now it's about a word, a phrase, a situation where if this individual who said this word, who said this thing, triggers you to have an emotional reaction, it's not invalidating the emotional reaction, it's understanding what that reaction does for you. Does it take away your power? Does it bring you to a state of victim mindhood? Does it paint others who are ignorant because they're not intending to hurt you if you make that judgment as an observer, not an emotional being, but a logical being observing yourself and the dynamic? If it is a situation where they are not saying these things to hurt you, they just don't know, then that situation and dynamic, is it hurting you to feed into the emotion more than helping you? Does it bring about hurt and harm in those around you as well who don't understand why you're triggered necessarily because they're ignorant? In that moment, it is an opportunity. And this is that transition to the eternal gatekeeper, the epiphany, your gift. That is an opportunity that you have to choose a new path. And by doing so, model that for those around you that are open to learning about it, that are open to choosing a new path because they watch how you move differently. And by that, yes, it could be triggering, but you acknowledge that's not the spirit in which it was spoken. Now, whatever this dynamic may be, it is your choice as the observer to educate or to not feed into it at all, to not give your personal energy to it, or to educate. Because as you're owning your sovereignty, your energy, you choose where you give it. You choose if you give it to more hurt, to more victimhood, because this individual being ignorant won't understand how they're the bad guy because they know that something they said hurt you, but they don't know why. And others around may know why, but they don't know why. And how can that really bring a solution? It's up to you where you bring light. If you feel that it will actually help the dynamic, the situation, the individual, where they are actually receptive to learning, then, that's your decision to give your light to that, to allow them to understand what they said and what it means, because they may not know. And that is such a powerful thing to recognize. Not only that you have that inner child within you, but you can see that in others. Thus the ignorance. That's one of the things that make children so amazing, is they're so ignorant to the world. They have such a unique take on things. Sometimes they're the most wise beings in our environment. If you have a chance, I would highly recommend checking out some of the videos available between really like the elderly and, you know, young children. I have one in mind, and it's between like a World War II veteran and like a 5-year-old boy, and the conversation that the two of them have is really profound, because they're on completely opposite ends of life, and yet they have common ground. They have common ground. It's so insightful. Okay, so with that, you decide what you change, what you alchemize, because you are very muchly connected now to the divine within you. You're owning that, and you're acknowledged as being consciously aware of what you're creating now. Oh, wow. Excuse me. Now, I want to say that you're still able to be human. You're still going to be encountering masks. You're still going to be discovering the gold within you, the light within you. There is no expectation of perfection, because what is that? And according to whose definition would that be? This is about you and the divine within you, not about anybody else. And how you move and what you give your energy to is the gifting of yourself to the world, of these adjustments that you make to this creation, your presence, your light, and how you share that with the world. That is uniquely yours. All right, we're going to do one of these for the epiphany side here. So you have that original innocence, the priestess of original innocence. So you're very receptive to seeing and expressing. Okay, so you're very receptive, being the priestess. This could also be priest, but it is highlighting, okay. It's highlighting the receptive energy in particular. Wow, okay, so we had like a couple come out here. So you're receptive to that inner child's voice, as well as the inner child voice of those around you, to seeing that childlike aspect in everyone around you. Because come the end of the day, all we really want is to be happy, right? The epiphany. Okay, so revealing your gifts. This has come through a couple of times where it's important to have that ritual. 44, foundational. This is giving me 4 sets of 10. So 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords. New beginning. The ending of one thing, the beginning of a new. The end of a chapter, the beginning of a new one. It could be a new book. It could be a completely new thing altogether. But this is all 4 10s. And ritual, setting like your circadian rhythms, spending time outside, having certain times a day you do certain things, even if they flex from day to day. Investing that time in that, spending time in nature will bring even more enlightenment. Spending time in nature and doing these ritualistic things to your day, where you have that circadian rhythm, where you go to bed at this time, you do this when you wake up, you do that in the afternoon. This will allow you to hear your inner light, to understand it, to be more aware of the subtleties of it. Almost a greeting of the self. And then we have the labyrinth. Okay, so you've reached the middle of this journey. You found the gold in the middle, and this is the path out. You've practiced this many, many times. If you're not like on the precipice of leaving the labyrinth, you already know the way out. It's already guaranteed. It's not going to be an obstacle course of outside energies. It's going to be you are your own obstacle now. And to elevate above that, because you can. You don't have to be in this anymore. You are elevated above it. You're no longer... Okay, so this was like for a couple of different timelines here. Wow, okay, so the epiphany, this side of it, recognizing that light, that gold, the subtleties within you, this working with the rituals, this is how you want to create this. All of this is for a couple of different timelines, a couple of different groups within the collective. So wherever you are in this is something you are capable of doing. The more that you have that ritual, that routine in your life, the more that you will elevate above the obstacles that used to get to you. You'll be able to see them as the observer, not emotionally being stuck in it and then, you know, finding yourself somewhatly giving to it, whether you want to or not, because you're so emotionally invested or immersed. That's the right words. You're emotionally immersed in it. You've elevated above it. And that is this tower. You can choose that. It is within your grasp. It is because you're connected so much with that inner innocence, that inner child within yourself and those around you, that honesty, the innocence, the origin of self. You can choose to elevate above it. Begins with being open to observing and to not let others see for you. This is Priestess of Priorities. What are your priorities? What do you want to create? Do you want to meet others' expectations? Or do you want to meet your own? You may have been receiving some help in many ways for sight from the ancestors, the angels, the guardians, the guides throughout this, but this is like the training wheels. They're coming off here. You don't need them to define you anymore. Not because you needed it before, but because it was like having, when you go bowling and they put the inflatable things in the gutters, so your ball never goes in the gutter, like you never, strike out. Those are coming undone because you don't want them there anymore. They feel restricting now. They feel like you're breaking out of the egg. You're ready to experience what's on the outside. You feel like you've outgrown the shell. And then we have the Hive Queen. And this tells me that whatever you create, it will be sweet. And it will bring abundance because honeybees, there are so many flowers and plants and vegetables and fruits that would not exist if they were not pollinated because of the honeybee. Not to mention, honey. Also, raw honey. I just learned this today, and I don't believe it's coincidence, but apparently if you eat raw honey, it helps the mind reach the alpha wave states easier, like you were a veteran meditator, like you've been meditating every day, like it helps the mind to make that shift to the alpha waves easier. This is basically being all that you can be. Yet again, choosing what to pollinate, choosing what to give to you, how much honey to make, either way, it's all sweet. Okay. And we'll just do a little bit here for more of a conversational tone to things here to wrap up. Seems to be very muchly about the personal. Ooh, fate line. Whew, Four of Swords. This healing journey was a big part of your soul's goal coming into this life. It was needed in order to break out of that shell, in order to become this gatekeeper. And being that it's swords, like, it's a double-edged sword. They may be truth present, but truth can hurt and it can heal, and it can be both. Okay, and then we have the Three of Wands. And you had options. You had choices that you could make, different paths that you could have taken. You didn't necessarily have to choose this life to do this, but you did. You did. You possibly could have been working on this for many lifetimes, but in this particular one, you have manifested being the Empress, the Queen of Pentacles. She is the last queen for the Empress to master. And this is, yes, it can be physical abundance, and it very well may be physical abundance, but it's not necessarily that you're a billionaire. It could be that you have everything that you need. And, you know that if you want a few things, that you can have that it's okay. You can accommodate that. But you have that perspective because you've already mastered the Queen of Cups. You know that love is the priority first. You have the Queen of Swords. You know how to protect that love and the truth, to see that truth. The Queen of Wands, to manifest that passion in your life. And now you have this last Queen of Pentacles, which is bringing it into the physical. If we don't get one, I'm going to assume that would then be where your spirit team wants it to remain. Fall in love with life again. That's what I got. See the magic. As you go through this process of being this original innocent, this conscious creator, of changing what you desire and will, knowing that you are co-creating it, that light within you, you're learning those subtleties as you learn yourself, and you're owning your truth, not being defined by anyone else's, and also having that presence of creating space for others that do not know, that are also in that original innocence. They don't know, to learn, to understand, to grow, to heal, to not create villain and victim, but teacher and student. To fall in love with the magic of life. Others may not participate with you in that, but they'll begin to be curious about what it is that you have going on, because for some reason, you're elevated above the problems. They're there, but you found a way to be comfortable with what is uncomfortable. In the meantime, to there being that solution, that outcome, that change, that transformation that you're co-creating. It's a co-creation. You don't just decide it and it is so. It's the co-creation. The universe is going to have to bounce that ball back into your court. You may send that ball, in a metaphor, but in the meantime, while you're waiting for the universe to bounce that ball back to you, you're above these obstacles, you're like, yeah, it's there, but you know what, it's not really affecting my peace because I know the universe is going to bounce that ball back. Falling in love with that magic, knowing and being surprised when that ball does come back to you, what the divine has decided is the response. Like, oh, well, that's what's going on. Well, this is my idea of the solution. What do you think? And then you could be like, yes, please. Or let's change that a little bit, but I like all this. You know, that kind of a thing. It's very much like a collaboration. It's a beautiful reading for you guys. I really hope that you found some healing, and if you did discover some triggers here, to approach them with a open-hearted curiosity and to seek it from a perspective of your inner child, that innocence, that naivety of not having everyone else's projections placed upon you and what you've been told you should think or want or be or do, just that inner child. I hope that you found the synchronicities that present your validation of your own intuition in today's reading, that your spirit team did reach out to you and did answer your questions, did validate you, did present those reinforcements that you're not alone. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.